Hello out there in virtual world. I'm Bobby Kinzer, and that's Thomas Doty. And we are the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. We know that people are out there struggling and stressing with ways to get their finances in order. And we know that they want to learn best ways to get control of their money, and especially for the future. So we came up with this show, the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. Our primary goal is we want to teach people methods and strategies on personal money management. Now, last week, our show was on the effective use of credit cards and reducing debt. So if you missed it and you like to catch up on some of the previous shows, you can go out there on Facebook Live and on YouTube and search the FITT Show, FITT, and click on the FITT Show. We hope you go out there and check it out because this is our 5th show, dope. And we have some really great shows in the past on credit cards and credit scores and investing, and we plan to do a lot more. So just like to thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. And we actually are broadcasting around the world. I got friends in Amsterdam, Holland, who's on tonight, in England and Scotland, and all over America. So, Dote, how you doing tonight?
Couldn't be better, Bob. How are you?
Great, man. Tonight, our show is going to be what you may want, may not be what you need. And we got a great topic. Before I get into that, Dote, won't you share with the audience how you got into the financial industry?
Okay, yeah, I was kind of late getting into finance. I was a sophomore or junior year in college. I decided to switch and look for a major that would help me get a job. That became my primary focus. And I looked at the business school because I'd always been good in math, and accountants were getting a lot of job offers upon graduation. And so I decided to switch into accounting. So I got a job while I was in college working for PPG, and I started off as a staff accountant. And at that time, my world was so limited, I thought if I could ever be in charge of the plant accounting, I thought my life would be complete. But I started working as a plant accountant. I got to meet some business guys who kind of opened my world to all that was out there as far as running a business. And decided to get my MBA. My wife pushed me to get my CPA, so I did that. In case I ever wanted to start my own business, I'd have that license that would enable me to do that. And I just continued to progress through PPG, and I got to the point where I actually was the controller for several of their large businesses. I'm talking billion-dollar businesses. And when you are the finance guy working with the vice president who's running a business, you have to be involved in every aspect of the business. You have to be involved in the budgeting. You have to be involved in the financing. You have to be involved in, should we do this? Should we do that? You're involved in every decision because accountants see everything. So that's how I got into accounting. I've always enjoyed taking care of money. And again, my world was broad. And once I decided I wanted to be involved in running a business instead of just being an accountant, and basically accountants keep score, but once you get on the other side and you're involved in running a business, you get to learn more about how to run a business. So that's pretty much my background.
Hey, Doe, won't you share with people, because you've said it before, but I don't think people know what PPG stands for. Can you just tell us a little bit about what PPG stands for, what they do, and the size of the market share that they have?
It's a manufacturing company, and a lot of what we make, we sell to other companies. If any car, just about every car in the world has some PPG technology on it, because we sell coatings for automobiles. For new cars, we sell, if you wreck your car, you need it painted, we sell the paint for that. We sell house paint. Anything you name, PPG sells. It's about a $15 billion company, has operations all over the world, and very, very conservative, fiscally responsible company. I mean, if you work for PPG, you have to be an analytical type because they are very keen on running their business very, very wisely. And
wow,
I progressed through that company pretty well. I did pretty good.
Wow.
When I left, I was the highest ranking Black person in PPG. So I had a really good career.
You're over the accounting department, the whole accounting department, correct?
No, I ran the credit department for the whole company, and I also was the controller for several of their businesses.
Okay, and the credit was
I got out of accounting. I kind of got out of accounting and got into the business side.
Okay, and the credit side, what was that, about over $2 billion?
Yeah, we had $2 billion of receivables globally, and that's
a lot.
A pretty big job. Yeah.
So okay, y'all. So this is the difference between me and Thomas Doty. Thomas Doty come up as an accountant, and I came up as a financial management analyst. And the difference is, but Dote does accounting from a business perspective, which we always talk about young people to learn accounting for business, because most people, they just teach kids to go in these consulting firms and do taxes. But Dote learned it from a business standpoint. But this is the difference. Dote was one of those bean counters that goes to the last budget, last number, then check those numbers, make sure I'm cold. I'm a finance. I read the tea leaves. I tell you what they say. You count them, and I read them. And Dote does it in a business way too. But how I got into the industry, my body clock expired. I was playing 5 years professional basketball overseas in England and Scotland. My body clock expired, and I had to get a real job. And I became a stockbroker and an investment advisor associate. After 2 years of that, I went and became a case manager for the FDIC, a financial management analyst, which I liquidated banks across the country in an orderly fashion on the deposit insurance side. And I did that for 30 years. And then I also, in collateral duty for the FDIC, I was a corporate recruiter, and my school was Hampton. So I hired several bank examiners that out of Hampton University. And my other collateral duty was I was a community affairs specialist, senior community affairs specialist, teaching financial education with the FDIC products all across the United States, going into administrations, public schools. It was a great, great opportunity to really get out there with the people and teach and talk about the wonderful world of financial management and personal money management. Okay, that's a little bit about me and Dote. So Dote, let's get into what's behind this statement. What you want may not be what you need.
Well, I think we started talking about this because a lot of people say they want to build wealth. They like to leave a legacy for their kids or save money to pay for this or pay for that. But I'm not sure that people always are willing to make the necessary sacrifices in order to do that. It's really easy to say I want to build wealth, but it's tough to do. You have to give up some things. You have to not get caught up in trends. You have to not want to, let's call it, keep up with the Joneses. You have to really be focused on sticking to your budget, sticking to your plan, and really accomplishing what it is you want to do. So you end up getting distracted with things as opposed to looking at the long term, where you want to end up. And it's happened to all of us. Happened to me. Happens to me a lot. But if you really had a discipline, you can say what you need is what you want. But in a lot of cases, it's not. You end up getting off track. I think that's what pushed us to this topic.
Well, the thing about managing money, it has a lot to do about behavior and money habits. And building wealth, it takes time. For most of us, wealth is built over years of making good decisions and investing and appreciating assets. And the healthier our habits are, the easier it is for us to create a process which we can keep moving forward and making money. Now, when it comes to building wealth and getting wealth, our money habits have a profound effect. They literally control, sometimes unconsciously, how we operate each and every day. So it's very important. That's why this show is really one of my favorite shows, because now we're getting into, the psychology of why people be spending, why people, do what they do, why they want what they want and why they need what they need. And we think this is an important conversation to have. One thing, though, they always say is you can tell about a person if you look at their checkbook and their credit card statement. You can find out a lot about a person. Like a couple of our friends, I looked at their credit card statement and they had a lot of bills down there for that porn. So it really tells you a lot about a person. but okay, so Doe, let's get into it, man.
Okay.
Let's talk about a little bit about the differences in needs versus want, just a little bit.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward if you look at it. You think about needs, that's your basic requirements that have to be fulfilled for you to live. Wants are goods and services which you just would like to have. Okay, needs are limited. Things you need, there's a finite number of things that you need. Wants are unlimited. Okay, needs are required for life. They don't change in time. The things you need today, you're going to need 10 years from now. Wants change. They develop, they grow, they get larger. They can change over time. Finally, needs are essential for life fulfillment. If you don't have your needs fulfilled, you can die or it can lead to illness. Wants you don't have to live. So you may get disappointed if you don't have your wants, but you don't have to have them. And I think once you look at it like that, you can really differentiate what you need versus what you want. And I think that's key. And once you understand these kinds of things, you can understand all of the marketing that's being pushed at you to get you to buy things. There's people out there who's just trying to get your money. And that's their only goal. And they're very strategic in how they do that. And I think that's one of the things we want to get you to understand is you have to have a defense, at least mentally, for all the things out in the world that are trying to get you to spend your money. Whether it's items at the checkout counter sitting there, or going grocery shopping while you're hungry and you end up buying twice as more than you need. But as Bob said, there's a psychology to it that you have to understand. And if you don't understand it, you're going to fall victim to buying things that you don't really need.
Right. And that's very important to actually know, Doe. I just want to remind everybody, if y'all can click on the thumbs up button, it really helps us. Click on the heart button and put some comments out there. We really would appreciate you, because those are kind of things that really, really, really will help us get some traction with our show and expands to the audience that is going out to. So click on the thumbs up button, you all, and make sure you click on the heart button too, and put some message out there. We got some people tuning in, Doe. We got the wonderful Now Doty out there, right? And Bob Robinson, our good frat brother, and Kitty Cheney from the FDIC. I mean, she's the spokesperson for FDIC sometimes with our Black History Month. And Taria. What's up, Taria? So good to see you out there. So, Doe, I want to talk about for a minute. It's not letting me share. I want to talk about for a minute, Doe, some of the 7 worst money habits. Do you see that, Doe?
Yes. We're
Great.
Still on the side.
Say it again.
We're on the side, though.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me make that a little bit better. All right. Is that better?
That's perfect.
All right. 7 worst money habits. And that's what we're talking about tonight, you all. These things that get us in trouble. So, number 1, failing the budget. Failing to keep track of income and monthly expenses is a recipe for disaster. A lot of people say they do it and try to keep it in their head, but you have to put it on paper. And me and Doe talk about it like this. When you leave the house to go somewhere, you just don't walk out the house, go get in the car, sit the key in ignition and turn it and expect to get there, do you? No. You usually go put it in a GPS and sort of feel a 100% certain that you're going to be able to get to where you're going. And that's what having a budget helps, what having a financial management plan does. So make sure, a lot of people, that's one of the worst habits, failing to budget. Number two, impulse buying. Retailers are savvy when it comes to consumer buying habits. There is a reason why goods are placed near the checkout, on the shelf at eye level, or even marked down. Retailers want consumers to buy, and they want them to, because the retailers really understand the buying triggers, you all. So the solutions for impulse buying is: one, shop with a list; two, delay unplanned purchases; and don't check this one out. Number three, shop without your kids. Because sometimes your kids influence a lot of stuff that you buy. All that sugar and cereals with all that sugar in there. Excuse me. Number three, accruing credit card debt. Credit cards can be lifesavers when emergencies arise, but using them to buy staples such as food, entertainment, and day-to-day bills can result in balances that quickly get out of control. Now, the difference is here, because Doe uses credit cards to his benefit because he gets rewards points. If you discipline, then you can spend on these, what they call staples, such as foods and other things, entertainment and things. But if you're not, you need to curb that. But if you can, if you have control, then use them to your benefit, but pay them off. Number four, overdrafting accounts and late fees. Late fees just be killing people. The banks, especially the big banks, at least the three largest banks earned more than $1 billion in fees in a single quarter in 2015. Did you hear what I said? They earned $1 billion in fees from people between late fees and overdraft accounts. Financial institutions penalize consumers when they slip into an overdraft or make late payments. The solution? Set up alerts from your checking and credit and your credit and accounts that notify consumers through the phone and mail. Now, a lot of banks have these apps, and it's free, that you can track your balances. So when you hit a minimum balance is met, it gives you a notification. This also helps. Number six, getting down to the bottom of this. Paying for, did I skip one though? Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Number five, paying for unused services. This study showed that 4 out of 5 people have gym memberships that go unused. Consumers are expected to pay monthly dues, and they don't. The solution is review your bank and credit statements to determine whether these services are not being used and cancel the memberships, especially you people who starts with those New Year's resolutions and they go and get these memberships and go for 1 month, 2 months, and don't go the rest of the year or the next 2 years, and they still paying. Those get you paying unused services. 6, emotional spending. Now, everybody sometimes deal with this one because shopping addiction is a common reaction to the pressures of stress in life, especially this COVID that's been out here that we went through. Giving into temptation can result in a quick fix, but buyer's remorse and negative financial consequences can follow. The solution: stay focused on your financial goals and set a budget. Last one though, ATM fees. It may seem like much, but $3 or more surcharge for ATM transactions can add up real fast. The solution is there is no value. The solution is use your ATMs that are connected to your financial institution. There is no value to consumers when he or she has to pay access for money for your own money. I mean, that's just the fact, though. And those are just 7 of the worst habits that people actually get into, though. And we just wanted to share those with people. No, another quick thing I want to share with you, man. Have you heard of this thing called confirmation bias? You ever heard of that?
Had not
Confirmation
heard.
bias is a new psychological term, you all, that psychiatrists use. And it's basically where you convince yourself to do something that you wanted to do. You know, like you saying, look, look, I work hard for my money. I'm gonna buy that Lexus, and you don't even have the money to pay for it, but you convince yourself to buy. It's called confirmation bias. I mean, do you know people like that, though?
Oh yeah, self included.
I mean, you know, there's a come up because some people convince themselves that, man, look, that Mercedes is worth it because you can go drive it for over 250,000 miles, and I'm gonna keep it for 10 years. They don't even keep it for 10 years, and they dag sure don't drive it for 250,000 miles. But confirmation bias, they convince themselves to buy it. So, though, let's get into another interesting topic. And when it comes to what you want may not be what you need. It's called needs that are really wants. Now this is tricky. This is really, really tricky because a lot of people confuse their needs with their wants or their wants with their needs. So why don't you share a little bit with the folks
Yeah,
about
we're going to give a couple of extreme cases. And again, what we're trying to get you to do is think about what you're spending. If you really set yourself up to budget wisely and to spend your money wisely, you need to understand the difference between your wants and your needs. For example, in lifestyle, if you look at home internet, I mean, that could be a need if you work at home. But if you just use it for entertainment, looking at social media, playing video games, it's not a need. It's a want. Split expenses. You go to the grocery store. That's a need. You have to have things to eat. But you also buy things that you don't need while you're there. Again, you have to have that discipline to say, I'm only going to buy what I need. So which option you choose, it is, for example, picking a phone. You know, you can convince yourself that you need the phone with all the memory and all the tools and all the gadgets and whatnot, and it can end up costing you a whole lot more. Well, if you look at just a pure want, a flip phone would work fine. You could get by with a regular phone. And so just start looking at those things and saying, what do you really need? Because once you set your goals up and figure out where you want to be, that has to be what drives your spending. And you have to be real with yourself. That should be what drives your spending. And you really shouldn't spend money on things that you don't really need. Now, of course, everybody has to celebrate. Sometimes you don't just want to work just to pay bills, but you have to know where your money's going. You really have to understand that the psychology of spending money.
Yeah, that's very important though, because a lot of people get caught up with, and they say young people under the age of 15, 1 out of 5 have trouble trying to distinguish the difference between needs and wants, and that's a study that they performed internationally. But I say there's grown people that I know that struggle with needs and wants. And this is the thing. We're not saying, you can't go out there and get some of the things you want. But the key is just prioritize your spending. That's really the key. Just prioritize it. And if you really prioritize your spending, you can get to your needs and you can get to your wants. But that's the problem. We just sometimes go willy-nilly and be, like I said, that impulse buying. And it can really, really get you off track. So just want to make sure, oh man, we got Sister Streeter from Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. Too many people want to look wealthy before they have real wealth. That's a good statement, my sister. No doubt about it. Make sure y'all click out there, okay? Dope. I want to talk for a minute about the 5 money habits to help you to build wealth. You ready for that, though?
Hey, let's go.
Number one, eliminate debts. Debts kill our chances of building wealth every time. Now let's make one thing clear. Not all debts are created equal. For example, student loans can easily benefit us in the future. According to the Business Insider, college graduates earn anywhere from 38% to 130% more, 133% more than non-college graduates, depending on the state. There's no question about it. Student debt is not necessarily bad, but there is a lot of debt that is bad. If you look at the total consumer debt in the United States, though, it's at $28 trillion. I mean, the highest ever. Matter of fact, this is above what it was during the economic crash in 2008. So use debt as a tool, not as a way to spend money that you don't have. Smart debts are those that improve our future and support our long-term goals. Number two, this is an important one, though. They're all important, but this is an important one. Invest in appreciating assets. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's true. Saving money doesn't build wealth, though. Even if we save money in an interest-bearing savings account, our money probably isn't keeping up with inflation. Saving money for a rainy day is smart, but it is not how most of us build serious wealth. It's investing that makes people wealthy in things such as the stock market, real estate, property or your home, businesses, relics or historic objects like antiques. Alternative investments are like gold and silver. The idea behind this is simple. We buy an asset for a certain price. Over time, the asset appreciates in value. Boom! Now we have something that's worth more than what we paid for it. But here's the magic. Through the power of compounding interest, our assets just don't build linearly. Instead, appreciating assets build exponentially. Compound interest means your assets build upon themselves. Now, this next one, though, is one of these current type ones. Use automation. Now, a lot of people, especially us baby boomers, really are struggling and really trying to resist automations. To resist is futile, you all, because soon we don't have a chance on certain things. But building wealth becomes easier when we automate it. There are several examples in life where automation can play an important role. Many employees offer 401k or IRA plans, retirement plans, and most of these companies will automatically make contributions straight from your paycheck into your investment account. Once it's set up, you never have to worry about it again. It just happens. No discipline, no remembering. When we put our finances on autopilot, things happen without us having to lift a finger. A smart way to use automation is, like I said, automate your contributions into your 401k plan or to your IRAs. Automatically transfer money from checking into savings. Automatically pay your credit card bills to avoid running balances. Automation helps to ensure these repeatable and dependable processes that need to happen every month. They happen. You aren't relying on our discipline to pay bills to avoid late bills. This is the reason why people like me and Doe never pay a single interest charge. Am I right, Doe?
That's correct.
On our credit cards, never pay a late fee. Am I right, Doe?
Never.
And we have no reductions in our credit score. This is all due to setting up automatic processes that guarantee that things happen when they need to happen. I'm going through this real quick, though. I only got two more, so bear with me, everybody. The fourth one is know where your money's going. This is basically wealthy people are experts on their own money. Notice what I say, on their own money. Not relying on somebody else to be telling them. They know where it comes from and where it goes and where it's going to each and every month. In other words, it's called cash flow. Understanding your cash coming in, understanding your money going out. This means exactly you know where your money is coming and where it's going. Small expenses add up, so look out for those things. And the last one, though, this is a big one, though. Curb your lifestyle inflation. So some people say, what in the world is lifestyle inflation? Lifestyle inflation creeps up on us too. We start making more money, and in turn, we begin spending the majority of what we earn simply because we have it to spend. The causes of lifestyle inflation includes earning progressively more money each year with bonuses and raises, which provides us with extra cash to spend. We fund expensive vacation, huge purchases, and with all that extra money that we make year to year. Many jobs we work, they expect us to look successful, creating wicked cycle of earn and spend more than we need to. And we try to keep up with the co-workers. And you know what we say in the neighborhood, keeping up with the Joneses by matching or exceeding their level of spending. So remember, you all, income increases, so does our lifestyle. Here's the problem. You spend the majority of your money that you bring in, and you won't have it to be able to invest and to build the wealth that you need to do. So please, you all, keeping track of your money expense. Preventing lifestyle inflation is one of the healthiest money habits that exists and can completely, I'm telling you, can completely change your life.
Well, that's for sure, Bob. That's one of the things I've drilled to my kids. If they've learned anything from me, it's that one of the key things in getting set up as far as financing is to set your standard of living and don't increase it every time you get a raise. You take some of that raise and you use it to invest. You increase your 401k, you increase your Roth, you increase your emergency fund. But every raise you get, and we've talked about this in all of our shows, you think about paying yourself first. And if you get a raise, especially you were living on what you were making before you got that raise. So there's no way you can't take a good portion of that increase and put it away. Invest it for the future. Invest it for a rainy day. Because you didn't have it a week ago, but once you get it, you can put it away and that can grow for you. You don't have to spend it because you get it.
Hey, Doe, I got a little question. And there's been a dispute with some of my friends. And I just want to remind y'all, click on that thumb. And look, y'all can't click on it enough. Click on it several times. Click on the happy effect, the love, the heart. And you know, send some questions or comments to us, y'all, because that help us with traction, with being able to reach people out there. So click on that heart and the thumbs up as many times as you can. Though this is a question that I want to ask you, and we're bringing it home. Is saving a need or a want? Now this one tricks people up. Is saving a need or a want? Now, if your budget is tight, it can be easy to start putting money towards savings or long-term financial goals, such as emergency savings, paying off debt, retirement funds, life insurance, disability. This sort of spending feels like a want because it's not an immediate need. You can survive this month even if you put away money, you don't put away money for retirement or build an emergency fund. However, saving and getting out of debt should always be considered needs because they are investments in your long-term financial and personal well-being. Having life insurance, for example, might not be something you need this month, but if you should pass away unexpectedly, it will certainly be a need if your family, in the time that you need it, and they have to pay for your funeral services. Because this savings and getting out of debt should be considered a need, whether you're saving $10 a month or you're saving $10,000 a month. Planning for your long-term well-being should be taken care of along with other mandatory expenses. So some financial experts recommend that saving and paying off your debt should be prioritized even before expenses like your rent or your mortgage and food in order to motivate yourself to accomplish them. This is known as, what we call it though, Pay
Paying
yourself
yourself
first.
first. That's what
You
you
know,
have to
we've
do.
talked about this in our other episodes, and we just want to make sure that we bring that across, Dope. So with that, Dope, we coming to our mark. We like to, you know, give us as much of information. We know we're giving a lot of information out there, you all. But put some comments out there and let us know how you feel about the show, about the information that we're providing, because we know it's a lot. We only have a little bit of time. We're not trying to bag down people. We know we got 50 pounds of knowledge in a 10-pound bag, but this is what we're going to be here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Tell your folks, share, and remember, you could go out there and see our past shows out there on Facebook Live. I'm not live, just on Facebook and on YouTube. So, Dope. We got a lot of people out there actually putting comments out there saying good job and great show and now said great show and very informative. Thank you so much. So Dope,
Let's get to some takeaways.
And let's wrap it up. Like we always
Okay.
do. We just don't like to just tell you, go through the whole show. We like to bring it right back to you and sum it up in case you didn't get it. So let's go, Dope. You started off.
Okay, you have to pay yourself first. That's got to be the first thing you do. Is when you sit down and look at how you're going to handle your money, put your savings and paying yourself first at the top of the list.
And networking and educating yourself with reading. Actually, Warren Buffett, though, just said this the other day. He had an article on the biggest investment that you can make was educating yourself. He reads everything, and he reads about his competitors. He reads about what other people is doing, and that knowledge is king. And you know, we need to read more. And you know the old saying, they said if you want to hide something for Black people, put it in a book. But I don't believe that anymore, because a lot of our people are starting to get out there and a craving for information so that we can be empowered.
Yeah, and next is surrounding yourself with people who are doing or have done what you're trying to do. And it won't be the showy people who every dollar that they have, you see it in their car or in their jewelry, but they don't have a bank account. You want to surround yourself around people who are like-minded as you as far as building wealth, and you can get advice from. You don't want to take advice from somebody who's not rich. Okay, because if they knew what they were doing, they'd have a whole lot of wealth. So surround yourself with people who are successful, who think like you do as far as building wealth, and who are trying to do the same things you're trying to do. And you can share information, get more information, and they might teach you some of the mistakes that they made so you don't make the same mistake.
Hey, Dope, that reminds me, when I was in school, I used to have this guy always trying to tell me how to get an A, and this mug always got D's. I never understood that. But another summary from what we just talked about, you all, fix your standard of living. In other words, live within your means. Don't get caught up with the thing that I was talking to you about, curbing lifestyle inflation. You start making more money and you keep spending. The old saying, you have more month at the end of the money. Fix your standard of living. And we're not saying you got to live as a pauper. You got to live as a poor man, but we're just saying live within your means. You know, and that's not hard.
Yeah,
Dope?
and we skipped one. You got to be real with yourself. Don't just say you want to be wealthy, but live like you want to be wealthy. And as Bob said, not like a pauper, but just don't waste money. Don't spend money on things that you don't need. Be real with yourself when you set your budget up and stick to it, because that's what's going to help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah, Dope. And another one down here is self-assessment. This is so important because a lot of people, you know, when they do a self-assessment and they hit the dark places, it sort of paralyzes them. But you got to be willing to go past and deeper, because in order to go higher, you got to go deeper. understand your emotions, your goals, and understand the game, especially the marketing game where they're trying to get every dollar out of your pocket. Understand the game. Am I correct, Dope?
Yeah, it's like you're going to buy a car. They're going to show you the top of the line first, and once you see that, everything pales in comparison. It's like when you look at houses and you start with the most expensive, then you look at something that's reasonable and you go, oh, that's not that nice. And you know, you have to know what your limitations are, and don't fall for the marketing games, because they are very well versed in trying to get your money, and they know the emotional part of once you see something real nice, it's hard to go back. It's hard to go backwards. It's always hard to take that step back. So know that going in. And if you know, for example, which car you're looking for, don't look at the next line up. Stick with the one you're looking at, because once you look at that nicer one, it's hard to say no. It really is.
And the last thing, Dope, what you want may not be what you need. And that's where we were coming from with this show, you all. So we hope you enjoyed the show. We hope there was some information there that you can utilize. And remember, this information is just not for you. This is for you, your kids, your grandmama, your granddaddy, your neighbor. Share this information, you all, and tell them about the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. Now, we want to open it up for questions. If anybody have any questions, me and Dope, between the both of us, we're able to answer them. And if we don't know it, trust me, we know how to find it. But I find it very hard that me and Dope, between us, won't be able to answer any financial question that you have. And don't be ashamed, you all. And besides, you all, by putting comments in the comment box, that really helps us. And let us know. Let us know about the show, you all. Is it some topics that you want to talk about? Is there some topics? Because we want to be talking about retirement planning. We're going to be talking about taxes. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. So, make sure we stay tuned for that kind of thing. Dope, keep talking for a minute.
I'm the serious one in the group, so I'm not sure what he wants me to talk about. But I hope you are sharing this with other people, because all we're trying to do is pass along information. We're both in a position where we're retired. We don't have to work. We're not looking for money. We're very, very blessed to be where we are, and we just want to pass some information along. So we have no ulterior motive. We're not trying to sell anything. We're just trying to pass along information.
You don't know. What happened was my battery was getting ready to cut. My computer was going to cut off. I didn't know I was on low battery. I'll make sure I'll check that next time. And let that be a lesson to you. Just how that just happened with me, that's how your daggone lights can be cut off. And your bill, you need to check your daggone bill. Let that be a lesson. I'll get cut off, though. So thank you, everybody. That's us, the FITT Show. We out here, every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Daylight Time. Anything else you want to add, Dope, before we leave?
No, just pass it on. If you think it can help somebody else, give them the information, and we are here to help you.
Well, have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 8 p.m.